Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to see Unit 22, World of Microbes. So in this lesson, you will get clear-cut idea about the microbes. First, introduction about microbe. Let me tell you what is microbiology. Microbiology is a branch of biology that deals with the living organisms of microscopic size, which include bacteria, fungi, algae, protozoa and viruses. So this bacteria, fungi, algae, protozoa, viruses are all microscopic in nature. What's microscopic? Very minute in size, which cannot be viewed with the naked eye. This kind of organisms or microorganism which can be viewed only with the help of microscope. So knowing about this kind of microorganism is what we say it as microbiology. Am I clear for you children? So this microbiology is an important 2-mark question. So study about microbes. Example of microbes are here: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae as well as virus. So you have known something about these microorganisms which you have learned in the previous classes. Anyhow, let us have detailed look about these microorganisms. Habitats of microbes. So what is habitat? Where is it living? Microbes are found in the habitats like terrestrial, aquatic, atmospheric or in living host. So it can be in a terrestrial area, that is land area, or aquatic. Aquatic means water. It may be available in water or in freely in the atmospheric air or even in the host. What is host? That is any other living organism where this microbe or available or living is what we say it is host. So these microorganisms can live over the some other living organism. It may be plant or it may be animal or human, whatever may be, where these microbes are living or replicating is what we say it is host. So in this way, these microbes are present everywhere. Right? Some of the microbes survive in extreme environments like hot spring, ice sheets, water bodies with salt content and low oxygen and in arid places with limited water availability. So not only in the terrestrial, aquatic or atmospheric or in the host, it can be available in extreme environment also, such as hot spring, ice sheets, water bodies with the salt content. Likewise, it may be available even if the water is in limited quantity, right? Next, let's see about the types of microbes. So the microbes are of different types based on their size, morphology, habitat, metabolism and several other features. It can be classified into various types. So based on size, morphology is what? Nothing but a form, a shape or a structure of the organism only. We say it is morphology. And habitat means just now I told you where it's living, or metabolism or normal working condition of the body. Okay, or even some other features decides what kind of organism it is, what kind of microbe it is. So based on that, there are 3 types: unicellular organism, multicellular organism and acellular organism. So microbes can be classified into unicellular. Uni means what? Single. Uni means what ma? Single. So single celled organism. So the organism, a microorganism, if it is made up of a single cell, it's called as unicellular organism. Example, bacteria. And then multicellular. What is multi? More than one. We say it is multi. So if an organism is made up of more than single cell, what we say it is multicellular. Example, fungi. Next, acellular organism. Acellular means this microbe doesn't have cell at all. So, if an organism is made without cell, not even a single cell, it's called as acellular. A denotes what? Absence. Example, virus. Example for acellular microbe is virus. So, this microbe can be classified into unicellular, example bacteria, multicellular, example fungi, acellular, example virus. Here some of the unicellular organisms: paramecium, amoeba, bacteria, yeast. So already I told you unicellular means single celled organism. So these are the example for unicellular organisms. Likewise, these are the multicellular organisms. These are all coming under the fungi. Okay, what is this? This is bread mold, this is penicillium or aspergillus, etc. All the fungi varieties are all coming under multicellular organism. And next, these are the examples for viruses, that is acellular microbe, right? So based on the presence of the cell availability, the microbes are classified into these three types: single cell, unicellular; more than single cell, multicellular; no cell at all means acellular. Next, let's see about the unicellular microbe, that is bacteria. Bacteria are microscopic. Why microscopic? It cannot be viewed with the naked eye. It can be viewed only with the help of microscope. Do you know who invented this microscope? Yes, Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He is the first microbiologist designing his own microscope. He only designed the microscope. In 1674, he took the plague from his own teeth and observed it under the microscope. He was astonished to see many tiny organisms moving around, which was otherwise invisible to naked eyes. So whatever is invisible to the naked eyes, which could be viewed only with the help of microscope, is what invented by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Just additional information, children. Now coming back to the bacteria, this bacteria is not visible to the naked eye and it's purely microscopic. And it is single-celled prokaryotic organism. You know, single celled means it is coming under what? Prokaryotic organism. It doesn't have nucleus. You cannot see the nucleus inside. But it contains the living material, that is DNA. DNA is present, but the nucleus, the nuclear envelope or nucleus are absent here. Only living material DNA is present inside. So it doesn't have nucleus, and also the other cell organelles are missing here. It's not present. And the size is about 1 to 10 micrometer in length. Micrometer means very minute in size. And 0.2 to 1 micrometer in width. So in length 1 to 10 micrometer and in width 0.2 to 1 micrometer in width. And what about the motility? Motility means what? Movement. So some of the bacteria are motile or some are even non-motile. Some are movable and some are not movable. Next, let's see the shape of big bacteria. So the bacteria are classified into various shapes. Earlier we saw the types. Now we will see the shapes of the bacteria. Based on the shape, it is named differently. You see, the spherical shaped bacteria are called cocci. In singular, it's said as coccus. Okay, so the spherical, see, you can see here spherical shaped bacteria which are called as cocci. Next, rod-shaped bacteria are called as bacilli. Rod-shaped bacteria are called as bacilli. In singular, it is bacillus. Next, the spiral-shaped bacteria are called spirilla. Okay, it is called as spirilla, and in singular it is spirillum. Okay, then comma-shaped bacteria are called as vibrios, or in singular it is vibrio. You can see here, this is bacillus. Rod-shaped bacteria is what? Bacillus. Then spherical-shaped is what? Coccus, and spiral-shaped is spirillum. Then screw-like shape is there, that is spirochete. Okay, and then comma-shaped bacteria are called as vibrio. Right, these four are main. Okay, cocci, bacilli, spirilla, and vibrios. Based on the shape, it is classified in this way. And next, let's see the structure of bacteria. The bacterial cell has cell membrane covered by the rigid cell wall. So this is covered, this bacteria covered by cell membrane. You can see the cell membrane, outer covering, the cell membrane, and that cell membrane, you can see the cell membrane, and cell membrane is covered by the cell wall. Cell membrane is there, you can see the inner lining, you can see dark colored, black color lining is cell membrane, and the cell membrane is even again covered by the cell wall. So that's outer covering. Right, in some bacteria having additional covering around the cell wall, one more covering will be available around the cell wall, which is called as capsule. So the capsule structure you can see here, capsule. There is one more layer which is available around the cell wall, which is called as capsule. And next, the membrane encloses the cytoplasm. Where is cytoplasm? This area, blue color part. Okay, here is a membrane. This membrane encloses the cytoplasm, incipient nucleus. Okay, incipient nucleus is what? That is just a nucleoid. It's just a nucleoid. Already I told you the living material is present inside. I told you, right? And then ribosome as well as DNA are present inside. Okay, DNA and other organelles are absent. Next, the lack of membrane bound organelles. Yes, the organelles are present. Not all the organelles are not present. Even though the organelles are present, means it is not having proper membrane around it. That's what it's mentioned here, the lack of membrane bound organelles. In addition to this, the small extra chromosomal circular DNA, see, you can notice here, there is a small extra chromosomal circular DNA called as plasmid, which is found in the cytoplasm. So in the cytoplasm, plasmid is present. That's extra DNA, right? And the flagella, or this is flagella, right? This red color part. Yes, this flagella are found on the cell surface. For what purpose? For the movement. So flagella are found on the cell surfaces for the motility. So if the flagella is present, that bacteria are movable. Some kind of bacteria are there which are not movable. They doesn't have flagella. Right? This is about the structure of bacteria. Very important question, structure of bacteria. Next, based on the arrangement of flagella, it is classified into various types. Earlier we saw what? Based on the structure, it is classified into few types we saw, right? Now, based on the presence of the this is flagella, right? Already I told you this flagella is helpful for the movement. So, based on the presence of the flagella, it is classified into various types. What are they? Monotrichous, amphitrichous, lophotrichous and peritrichous. First, monotrichous. Monotrichous are single flagellum. See here, you can see the flagellum, only one is present. Usually, this is present any one of the pole. It is called as monotrichous. Mono denotes what? One. So, only one flagellum is present when it is monotrichous. And next, amphitrichous. Amphitrachus means a single flagellum is present at both ends. Can you notice? This side and other side, both the sides flagellum is present. So then it is called as amphotrichus. If it is present only in one side means monotrichus. If it is present in both the sides means it is called as amphitrichus. Next one, lophotrichus. Two or more flagella at one or both the poles. So more than one flagella is present in one side or on the both the side means it is called as what? Lophotrichus. Okay, and then flagella, if the flagella is present over the entire surface. So this is a rod-shaped bacteria and the flagellum is present all around, both the sides, everywhere, not both sides, everywhere, all around means it is called as what? Peritrichus. So monotrichus, single side flagellum. Amphitrichus, double side flagellum. Lophotrichus, many flagella are there but only in one side. And finally, peritrichus means this flagella is present all around the body. So these are the types based on the arrangement of flagella. And next, let's see about the virus. So far we saw about the structure of bacteria, structure and types of bacteria, and next we are going to see about virus. So in 1890, tobacco plants in Russia was affected by some of the microbes. Earlier, nothing was known. Only bacteria was known. Bacteria was known earlier and not the virus. Right, and later on only in the year of 1890 these are the tobacco plants. Okay, tobacco plants gave much income in Russia during the period of 1980s. This tobacco, you know very well, this is used for the tobacco products. Okay, even the cigarettes are stuffed with the tobacco only. Okay, so these tobacco plants are affected by certain kind of disease. Nobody knows what it is. See the affected leaf. So in such a way, something was affecting the leaves of the tobacco. And at that period, nobody knows about virus. So this is Chamberlain filter which was used earlier to filter the bacteria. Right, so this filter was used for filtering the extract of the affected leaves. Okay, so who did this experiment means Dmitry Ivanovsky. So he only first prepared an extract with the affected leaf and that was filtered out in the Chamberlain filter. Even after filtering, usually bacteria will be filtered and even after the filtering, the filtrate was used up to the plant just as an experiment he did, and again this the leaves were affected, and then later on only he found out even after filtering something was present which is affecting the tobacco leaf. Then what it is? Then only he got a good idea that something else other than bacteria is present in that extract. Then later on this Martinez Bejer Martinek Bejerink as well as Dmitry Ivanovsky later on found out this virus. They came to know about the virus. Okay, and this is not given in your textbook, just an additional information. Right, so only after 1890s virus came to know, right? And this is really a very dangerous virus. So this virus in Latin it means venom. Venom means what? Poison. So venom or poisonous fluid. It's an exact meaning in Latin for virus. So this virus is already I told you, this virus is an example for acellular. Acellular means it doesn't have cell. Not even a single cell, right? So the viruses are non-cellular, self-replicating parasite. It means what? A parasite means living over the other body and it can replicate, self-replicate. Replicating means doubling. Okay, the same kind of viruses can be produced. More and more viruses can be produced. That's what we say, it is self-replicating. So the viruses are not having cell, but it can repeatedly produce more and more same kind of virus. Okay, they are made up of protein. It's made up of what? Protein that covers a central nucleic acid molecule. In the center, the nucleic acid is present. You can see here the nucleic acid is present, and that is covered by the protein. Okay, it may contain either RNA or DNA. So this central nucleic acid may contain either DNA or RNA. This is about the virus. And then should know something about this virions. So a simple virus particle is often called as virion. So it's a kind of virus only, very minute virus particle. Already virus is very smaller in size. So a simple virus particle is said to be virion. And these viruses can be found either inside the cell or outside the cell. It can be present inside the cell or even outside the cell. If it is found extracellular, that is outside the cell, then the virus is called as virion. This virion can grow and multiply only, remember children, it can grow and multiply only in the living cells. If the cell is dead, it cannot live anymore. It cannot replicate. But if the cell is living and inside the cell if the virus is present, means that can produce more and more cells which contain the same kind of viruses. Can you understand? So virus can replicate, produce more and more only if it is present in the living cell. They can live in the plants, animals, human being, or even in the bacteria. Already bacteria is a microbe. In that microbacteria, this virus can be present and replicate. Okay, they can be easily transmitted from one host to the other. Host means the virus where it is living is what we say, it is host. Okay, it may be a plant, animal, or a human being, wherever may be, whatever may be. So it can be easily transmitted from one host to the another. Suppose if a plant is affected by virus, means very quickly that affected plant, from that affected plant, this virus may spread the nearby plants which are in good condition. Very quickly it can spread. That's what mentioned here. They can be easily transmitted from one host to the another. If one person is affected by virus, means very quickly that person can spread virus to others. As of COVID-19, right? Next. The important character of virus. So this virus can exhibit both living and non-living characters. So virus can be like living and also non-living. How? First let's see the living character of virus. Already I told you this virus have the nucleic acid. What nucleic acid? It may contain either DNA or RNA. DNA is what? Deoxyribonucleic acid or ribonucleic acid. It may be, this nucleic acid may be DNA or RNA. It's a genetic material. So this only produce more and more. That is, replication is possible only with the help of this living material. This can multiply in a living cells of the host. So if this virus is present in the living cell, they can produce more and more virus affected cells. And it affects the specific host. Suppose if the virus have entered into the human body, it can produce more and more and more virus affected cells, and it affect the host. Host means a person where it is living, right? They can attack the specific host. This is about the living virus. So if the virus is present in a living cell, it can replicate, produce and more. It can multiply and produce more and more virus affected cell. Very dangerous it is, right? And what about the non-living character of virus? So this viruses can remain as inert material outside the host. Inert means what? Powerless. Okay, virus can remain in the material if it is available outside the host. Suppose if the virus is available over a stone or a table, over a non-living material, means it acts like a non-living virus. It cannot spread anymore, right? Suppose if any other living material or if any other living cell has taken up that, then it starts to live, right? They are devoid of cell membrane and cell wall, doesn't have cell membrane or cell wall. The viruses are devoid of cellular organelles like ribosome, mitochondria, etc. So cellular organelles are also absent. It is not having cell at all. Cellular organelles are also absent. And so this can be even produced in a crystallized form. It can be converted into a crystal also. So here just remember, this virus live like a it doesn't live. This viruses doesn't live if it is living outside the host, outside the living material. Suppose if it enters into a living material, it starts to produce more and more. Can you understand, children? Okay, so this is about the non-living character of virus. It can live only if it is present in the living material, or it cannot produce any more viruses if it is present over the non-living material. And next, let's see the types of virus. There are 3 types of virus, that is plant virus, animal virus and bacteriophage. What are 3 types? Plant virus, animal virus and bacteriophage. If the virus is living over the plant, it is called plant virus. If the virus is living over animal, it is called as animal virus. And if it is living over a bacteria, it is called as bacteriophage. And next, some of the examples for plant virus. This virus, if it is present over the plant, means it is called plant virus. So living over the plant, this virus can infect the plants. Example, tobacco mosaic virus. Tobacco mosaic virus means a virus living over the tobacco plant, right? Then cauliflower mosaic virus. If it is living over cauliflower, it is called cauliflower mosaic virus. And then potato virus. So from that is how does this virus gets its name? That is where it's living, based on that this virus is named. And then some of the animal viruses. So these viruses can affect the animals also. Some of the examples are adenovirus, then retrovirus, influenza virus and polio virus. So adenovirus is a kind of virus which causes cold and fever, right? Then retrovirus causing HIV, human immunovirus, right? Or else this kind of retrovirus only produces tumor causing cancer, right? Influenza virus causes the flu infection. Okay, likewise polio virus, that is polio attack, is caused by this polio virus only. So different kind of viruses causing different kind of diseases in the animal as well as human being, right? Next, bacteriophage. What is bacteriophage? If the virus is living over the bacteria, it is called as bacteriophage. Bacteria is already microscopic. It is not visible with the naked eye, and bacteria is coming under the microbe only. But these viruses are very minute in size, very smaller in size, which can even live over the bacteria and affect the bacteria, right? And this if you consider bacteria, good bacteria and bad bacteria are there, right? This viruses can even affect the bacterial cells. If the virus affects the bacteria, it's called as bacteriophage. Example, T4 bacteriophage. So this is the bacteriophage. So this virus this is a rod-shaped bacteria, and over this rod-shaped bacteria, this bacteriophages can live and affect the bacteria also. So this is about the virus. So 3 types of viruses we have seen. What are they? Plant virus, animal virus and bacteriophage. Okay, so in today's class we have discussed about the bacteria and virus. And in next class I will explain you about the fungi and the microbe, how it is useful to us. Okay, thank you.